All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to take a look back at the Cardinals 2024 season and what they have to do to improve their team. But, just thinking to myself during the break. So the Steelers brought back Mason Rudolph, obviously. And, they talked about, hey, we were either going to bring back Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. Well, Justin Fields is now not available. So what do? They go and they get a quarterback that previously played for the team. So technically, they still were like, hey, we're going to choose one or the other. Well, you end up bringing back an old friend, and who knows if they bring in anybody else after that. But like I said earlier in the show, if the Steelers go into the year with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback, what are we doing? What are we doing? But that is a topic for another day. Maybe we get into it tomorrow, depending on what happens today. Maybe something big goes down. But the Cardinals, let's get back to the Cardinals. So the Arizona Cardinals. There were some expectations going into the year. I didn't think they were going to be very good. I thought they would be better than they were in 2023 because you had Kyler Murray for the whole season. And they ended up finishing 8-9. They missed out on the playoffs. Kyler Murray was back for the whole year. And, 21 touchdowns to 11 picks he had, 3,800 yards passing. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. They were a very good running team last season. They rushing are actually no. They were if I have their offensive stats. So yeah, actually these are their offensive stats right here. I have them. So passing yards per game, they were 18th, and then they were 7th in rushing yards per game. They averaged 144.2 rushing yards per game, which is very good. And then they were 11th in total yards per game. So their offense was not bad. Could have been better, of course, but was not bad. Their defense, though, was the lesser of the two. Total yards per game, they were 21st in the league. They gave up an average of 342.5. Points allowed per game, they were 15th. They were giving up 22.3 points per game. Passing yards allowed per game, they were 14th. Rushing yards allowed per game, they were 20th. They were 13th in the league in sacks, and then 24th in the league in interceptions. So their defense was not very good. They have the 16th pick in the draft. And then, they have a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. And I think they have 2 sevens. So, there's some improvements that they can make to the team. Now, the one move I do like that they've made so far is they signed Josh Sweat. That's going to help out the pass rush for this team. I like that move a lot. And I think they gave Budda Baker an extension this offseason. But yeah, I do like that move for the Cardinals. So they bolster their pass rush. Looking at some of the other players from last year, James Conner had a big year for them. He had over 1,000 yards rushing. He had almost 1,100 yards rushing. He had 8 touchdowns on the year. Kyler Murray had 5 rushing touchdowns. He had 572 rushing yards. He was the second leading rusher on the team. Their leading receiver was Trey McBride, who didn't score a touchdown until the end of the year. But he was a force. 111 receptions. He had 1,146 receiving yards. He's a stud tight end for them, one of the best tight ends in the league. And then you also had Marvin Harrison Jr. in his rookie year campaign. He had 62 receptions for 885 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. Michael Wilson, their other receiver, he had 4 touchdowns. And then looking at the defense, Budda Baker, who we just talked about, he had 1 forced fumble, 2 sacks. Also on the season, did he have... He had no interceptions, but he had 5 pass defense. And some of their leading sacks leaders, you had Zaven Collins. He had 5 sacks on the season. Dante Stills had 4.5. But yeah, the Cardinals need to get better at rushing the passer, and Josh Sweat is definitely going to help them out with that. But yeah, Sean Murphy Bunting was their leading guy with interceptions. He had 3 on the season. And then you had Matthew Prater and Chad Ryland both kicking field goals for them this year. And Prater was 6 of 6 and 10 for 10 for extra points. And Chad Ryland was 28 of 32 on field goals, and he was 26 of 27 on extra points. He was actually 4 for 4 on field goals that were 50 plus yards. So that's pretty good. But the Cardinals, they at one point were leading the AFC West. They got off to a tough start against the Bills because they were winning that game. They were winning by a lot. They were up by, what were they up by? Well, not by a lot. They were up 17-3, but Josh Allen and the Bills came back, won that game 34-28. We actually saw, the first ever kickoff return with the new rules. That was, I think that was DJ Dallas that ran back that kick. But yeah, they lost a close game there. But then, after Marvin Harrison Jr. in week 1, I think he had no catches, right, in his first game? Or no, he had 1 catch for 40 yards. Then in his second game, he had 4 receptions for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Cardinals destroyed the Rams. They won 41-10. So you're like, oh, okay, that was unexpected. So they win that, but then they lose their next 2. They lose to the Lions and the Commanders, 2 playoff teams. But then they win that game against the 49ers. Kyler Murray has a big run in that game. They outscore the 49ers 14-0 in the second half. So they improved to 2-3 on the season. But then they end up going to Lambeau Field, and the Packers destroyed them. The Packers won 34-13. But then they won 4 in a row. And they were 6-4 at one point, going into the bye. And you thought, okay, they're looking good right now. But then they proceeded to lose their next 3 games. They lost to Seattle twice, and they also lost to the Vikings by a point. And the Cardinals actually had the lead late, but Sam Darnold, with 1 minute left, he threw a touchdown to Aaron Jones. So that was a tough loss. But then they beat the Patriots. Then they lose that game in overtime to the Panthers. And that was tough. I forget, there was a crucial play that happened in that game. I don't know. I think I forget what happened in the game. But there was either way, the Cardinals, they were playing for a playoff spot. Panthers, just playing for pride. That was a big loss for them. And then they ended up losing to the Rams 13-9. That was close to the end. But, Cardinals ended up losing that. And then, they won the final game of the regular season. And Kyler had 4 touchdowns. And they went 8-9. But they had a chance to win that division. And, like I said, there's a lot they can improve on. They definitely could use another weapon. The defense just needs a lot of work. I think this is another team that I think could go defensive heavy, or maybe they take a receiver with their first selection, or they take a receiver in the second round. But, tight end, they're fine. Quarterback, we've heard that Kyler Murray has been in trade rumors. So, I don't know, how true that is. But, they could use another pass catcher. Defense needs a lot of work. But, yeah, with the Cardinals, though, do you move off of Kyler Murray? Where are the Cardinals going with Kyler Murray? It just seems like every year, you think like, hey, look, this could be the year for the Cardinals, and then they fall flat. So how long is it going to be before they decide they want to go in a different direction? I don't know. But I think Kyler at times looked good, but also at times he doesn't look so good. So I don't know. I still think he's a decent quarterback, but I think his ceiling is limited. I think we're now well into his career. We kind of know what he is at this point. Still looking for that first playoff win. He's only had 1 playoff game, and it was really bad against the Rams when the Rams went on and won the Super Bowl. So, we'll see what this year brings. But the Cardinals are not a bad team. They improved from 2023. I think I had them around, what did I have them at? I have them at like 6 wins, I think. And they won 8. And you figured, they swept the 49ers and, they beat up on the Rams. Hey, could this be their year? No. They ended up losing twice to Seattle. They have a problem with Seattle for some reason. I mean, they let Zach Charbonnet. I forgot. I actually forgot to bring that up. I mean, I did bring up them losing to Seattle twice, but they let Zach Charbonnet run all over them in that second game when they lost 30-18. How many yards does Charbonnet have? He had 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks ran for almost 200 yards in that game. They ran for 176 yards. So, defense needs some work. The offense, you had another playmaker or two, and we'll see. And there are some receivers out there, so maybe, maybe that's a potential destination for Cooper Kupp. So, you got him out there. Stephon Diggs is out there. Keenan Allen, even though Keenan Allen has his sights set on L.A. or the Bears again. But, the Cardinals really haven't been that active in free agency so far, other than the Josh Sweat move, which, again, that's a move I liked. So we'll see. There's still some other guys out there that they can go out and get. But let me know what you guys think about the Cardinals and their season. There's a lot they can improve on. Pass rush, secondary, linebackers. I mean, they could address all that. That definitely needs some more. And if they could really improve their defense, they could be even better. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Cardinals in the comments. And with that, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out all the other shows as well on the network. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment as well. Try to get to the comments if you do comment. And yeah, until next time, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off from the GSMC Sports Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.